Welcome to our in-depth guide on immigration detention and bond hearings after a criminal conviction. Today, we will walk through how status violations, combined with offenses like DWI or DUI, can impact detention, bond eligibility, and long-term immigration outcomes. We will move step by step from detention processing to bond options, judicial considerations, and practical preparation, so you can better understand the process and make informed decisions with your legal counsel. In this agenda, we will first identify who becomes a priority for detention and why. Next, we will cover how processing and transfers typically occur. Then, we will compare the two paths to request release, through the agency or through an immigration judge. After that, we will examine how judges evaluate danger to the community and flight risk, especially in the context of DWI or DUI. We will also touch on hearing timelines, what evidence helps, and the most common mistakes to avoid. Finally, we will reinforce your understanding with short quizzes. This presentation is for educational purposes only and does not create an attorney-client relationship. Immigration law is complex and highly fact-specific. Your case may differ based on your history, location, and the court's practices. You should consult a qualified immigration attorney as soon as possible to obtain legal advice tailored to your circumstances. Individuals who violate the terms of their authorized stay, such as F1 students who lose status due to academic performance or transfer complications, become high-priority targets for immigration enforcement. When that status violation is combined with a criminal conviction, such as DWI or DUI, the likelihood of detention and the difficulty of the case both rise substantially. Authorities often view DWI and DUI offenses as clear indicators of danger to the community because they directly implicate public safety. After detention, the individual is processed and often transferred among facilities, which can complicate communication and case preparation. This process map shows the typical journey after detention. First comes processing and likely transfers. Then, if release is sought, there are two possible routes. The first is requesting a bond directly from the detaining agency, which is rarely granted in serious criminal cases. The second is requesting a formal bond hearing before an immigration judge. At that hearing, the judge primarily evaluates whether the person is a danger to the community and whether they are likely to appear for future court dates. If a bond is set and paid, release is only temporary, pending the outcome of the removal case. Attendance at all subsequent court hearings is mandatory. There are two ways to request release. First, a detainee can ask the detaining agency for bond, which is generally uncommon to succeed when there is a serious criminal record involved. Second, the more typical route is to ask an immigration judge for a bond hearing. Timing matters. If a removal hearing is near, the bond request may be consolidated into that proceeding. Otherwise, it can be scheduled separately. Judges typically weigh danger to the community and flight risk, with danger often taking precedence in cases involving DWI or DUI. If the offense is recent or involved aggravating circumstances, judges may see a heightened risk of harm. Flight risk assessments include family ties, employment, stable housing, past compliance with court appearances, and the overall reliability shown in the record. Other factors may support rehabilitation and reduced risk, such as treatment enrollment, sobriety programs, and credible evidence of changed behavior. When comparing the two routes, requesting bond from the detaining agency can be faster to initiate, but is seldom successful for detainees with serious criminal histories. The reasoning may not be fully transparent, and outcomes often include denials or unaffordable bond amounts. In contrast, an immigration judge hearing allows for a structured presentation of evidence and argument. The judge must analyze statutory and discretionary factors, such as danger and flight risk, giving you a clearer avenue to demonstrate rehabilitation, community support, and compliance. DWI and DUI convictions are treated as serious public safety concerns. Even if you have served jail time and complied with license suspensions, the conviction continues to weigh heavily against release at a bond hearing. Recent convictions are especially damaging because they raise doubts about immediate risk. Furthermore, these offenses can implicate grounds of inadmissibility or deportability, making the underlying removal case more challenging to win. These scenarios are purely illustrative. Outcomes vary widely by jurisdiction, facts, judge, and advocacy. Recent DWI convictions tend to lead to denials or very high bonds, especially absent treatment or rehabilitation evidence. Older, isolated offenses combined with strong, credible rehabilitation and community support may improve the chance of a lower bond. Nevertheless, every decision is fact-specific. This timeline illustrates how a case progresses, from detention through processing and transfers, to a bond request, either with the agency or before an immigration judge. If a removal hearing is imminent, the bond issue may be merged. Otherwise, a separate bond hearing can be scheduled. After the hearing, the judge decides whether to set a bond. If a bond is set and paid, the individual is released while the removal case continues. The person must still attend all future hearings until there is a final outcome in the underlying case. The duration between each step varies significantly by court calendars, facility logistics, and case complexity. Question: at an immigration judge bond hearing, which factor usually weighs most heavily against release after a recent DWI conviction? Options: A. Prior school status violation. B. Danger to the community. C. Length of time in the USD. Availability of a sponsor. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is danger to the community. Judges are especially cautious where recent DWI convictions suggest an ongoing public safety risk, which can outweigh other positive factors at the bond stage. To strengthen a bond request, gather certified court records and proof of sentencing compliance. Document substance treatment, counseling, or completion of DUI education programs. Provide evidence of sobriety efforts such as program logs and monitoring results. Demonstrate strong community ties through family affidavits, employer support, stable housing, and tax records. Include evidence of rehabilitation, like training certificates or volunteer work. Finally, a thoughtful personal statement, acknowledging responsibility and explaining positive changes, can be persuasive when credible. Begin by retaining specialized immigration counsel who understands criminal immigration intersections. Collect certified court records and proof of compliance. Obtain detailed support letters from family, employers, and community members. Show treatment enrollment and sobriety documentation. Provide proof of stable residence and employment. File a well-organized bond motion with exhibits. Finally, prepare testimony that addresses both danger to the community and flight risk, including what has changed since the offense and how you will ensure compliance going forward. Avoid leaning solely on an agency bond request when serious criminal history is present. Do not minimize a DWI or DUI. Instead, address public safety concerns directly. Ensure support letters include specific details and contact information. Document treatment and sobriety efforts. Remember that paying a bond only provides temporary release. The removal case continues. Most importantly, never miss a court date, because failure to appear can lead to redetention and negative outcomes. Question: if a bond is granted and paid, what does it guarantee? Options: A. Permanent lawful status. B. Temporary release while the removal case continues. C. Dismissal of all charges. D. Work authorization approval. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is temporary release while the removal case continues. Bond is not legal status and does not end the case. The individual must attend all future court dates and comply with conditions. In summary, a status violation combined with a DWI or DUI creates a high-risk detention profile. Agency bond requests are seldom successful in such cases, making an immigration judge bond hearing the usual route. Judges prioritize public safety and flight risk, with recent DWI convictions weighing heavily against release. Strengthen your case with certified records, treatment and sobriety proof, and robust community ties. Remember that bond merely provides temporary release, and you must continue to fight the underlying removal case. Consult a specialized attorney without delay. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to support more educational content. Finally, tell us about your questions or experiences in the comments. Your insights help others learn.